The views expressed on this podcast are that of the host and may not coincide with your own. Don't let that deter you from listening with an open mind. The UAP report will be printed in mass quantities is to avoid another pandemic shittigate. Lastly, the shit talk is explicit and your virgin mind is about to get probed. Let's get the show started, fuckers.
Big O! It's showtime!
This is the Tempest Universe.
This little intro here reminds me of the Netflix series Stranger Things, because as we're living in strange ass fucking times. You guys know this. You are very clear on this. There isn't a single person in the 66 countries that this podcast is played in that doesn't understand that. By the way, I am Manny. I am your host of the Tempest Universe, and man, I've been sitting around since the last episode, thinking about, how do we get past this UAP unintelligent report? How do we get past this? And then there was a post, a kind of like a comment on YouTube. Hold on a second, because my mouth's not fucking working the way it should be. Damn NSA. Anyway, so it's from JC. JC says, "I love the frankness of stating the obvious on these podcasts." For fuck's sake. Yeah, that's what I did. He was actually commenting on the last episode regarding fucking good old Bob Bigelow, the space gigolo. And the fact that Bigelow was straight up front. Bigelow sat there and told you shit exists. They gave me a shitload of money, cha-ching, in order to investigate this. And I'm here to tell you today, 2017, it's everywhere. It's real. It's happening. But yet in 2021, we get this shit talk report from the Unintelligent Committee of the House of Reps that tells us nothing. It literally says nothing. I want to get past that. But the thing is, to JC's comment, a lot of you guys, you sit on these podcasts, right? And they want to have like round tables and shit, like they're the King Arthur's fucking knights. They're not. They want to sit there and rehash old shit. We're done with that. As a matter of fact, listen, for fuck's sake, there's people, especially in the articles today, that were experiencers of famous UFO incidents who are saying, what in the flying hell did the Unintelligent Committee come out with? That makes no damn sense. I have sat here for 30 fucking 40, 50, 60 years telling you I saw an alien. It came down from the sky, not with a Russian flag or Chinese flag on it. And guess what? You guys are telling me that maybe that was a Chinese person with lobster hands. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me, and I don't understand why, in the name of all that is ufology, are people still following the false gods of ufology. These are the guys. These are the guys that will sit there on a podcast, and they will sell you books and maps and all kind of shit, and people follow them like they have spoken truth to them. You don't need them. I'm here to tell you, for the millionth time, you don't need them. Yeah, their books are cool. They collect all kind of info from all kind of fucking people. But think about if they were not there for just one moment, would you really not believe that there is life out there somewhere? Would you really not believe that there is a snowball chance in hell that maybe one alien probe, could have autonomously landed here with a bunch of little gray aliens that are robots? Would you really think that if that one person was not around? The answer is no. There is an abundance of evidence, year after year, decade after decade, but people still flock to these guys with books. Well, Manny, they've been out there doing research. I promise you that the research they did, you could have done that shit yourself. And if you really, again, look at the abundance of evidence, you don't need all that nonsense. The evidence is there. Now, why you folks who are in the United States, why your government told you that there was no fucking evidence, no damn data, is beyond me. But again, they selected a specific, okay, let us be clear on this. They selected a specific time frame where they wouldn't need to get fucking data because their study was based only on military personnel. There wasn't one single person, like a blue-collar person like Ronnie Dawson, in that report. Not a single one. So all the evidence, all the data, all the first-hand accounts that they could have included in this particular report went to hell in a handbasket because we didn't need to prove aliens because aliens was not part of the equation. Look at it. It wasn't even considered. So all the people that say, well, shit, at least any counters out of the conversation, yeah, they put you in that last bucket, the shit bucket, the leftover, where you go when you're filleting a fish and you want to get the scales off and the bones. Maybe you chop out the head. Some people like the head, but the guts and everything, and you throw all that nonsense you don't want to fucking eat, you throw that shit into that one bucket. That's where aliens might show up in this UAP report. That's my analogy. I hope you guys like it. But anyway, JC, listen, yeah, the truth is that, you have to be frank nowadays. We, the people that follow this from years and years, this topic, can't wait. I mean, we can't sit around with our thumbs up our asses, listening to a regurgitation of old stories. You guys know this already. They will sell us story upon new perspective upon new perspective. They'll even sell us a whole bunch of fake shit like Jaime Maussan from South America. All these new issues, new evidence, and it turns out to be shit. But that's how they keep us holding on. It took a few years for me to break out of this, but I finally did. And that's why we had UFO Buster Radio and the Tempest Universe. Because you guys have got to break loose of the media machine that some of these other podcasters are. Yeah, they want to get all these popular names together, but for fuck's sake, I want to propose this on this episode right now. The only person that can break this UFO egg wide open, not that it isn't already, this is what I'm telling you. This UFO thing is broken wide open already. But apparently we need to be validated in some way by the government. And that's what the problem is. Everyone needs validation. Please validate me. I did a good job today, even though I spent 40 minutes on the shitter. People need validation. They need no red ink. You put red ink on someone's shit, they lose it. So no, it needs to be in blue or black ink. When people get validated that their beliefs on UFOs and alien life somewhere, it's valid. And unfortunately, they're looking for the government to validate that for you. You're not going to get that, to be honest. The fact that UFOs, aliens were not part of this UAP report, but people read between. They didn't even read between the fucking lines. They were reading in between the folds of the molecules of the paper that this was not even printed on, in order to infer that they really didn't count out aliens. That's really what happened. It's pretty sad. Don't look for validation. You know it is what it is. You know what it is. But what's happening is that we have, a few generations that are going to die the fuck off, and then we'll have millennials and the ones that follow them to try to keep up a conversation when the records are going to be lost. These incidents are going to be gone, and we have to go with folks that would rather plug themselves into a satellite than do research themselves or read fucking anything, to be honest. They'd rather have it all beamed in. That's where we're at right now. So you have to be frank about it. You have to be upfront and give no fucks, because it's the only way we're going to save this conversation. Because if we leave it to anyone else, it's, forget about it. Anyway, so my proposal is, and I want to hear from folks, I believe that the one that can break this open like a crazy-ass Humpty Dumpty egg would be Bob Bigelow, the Space Gigolo. I believe Robert Bigelow knows the majority of what the UFO sightings are. And do I believe that he thinks it's Russia or China? No. Do I believe that he thinks that these are United States aircraft? I believe he knows that some of these are. But I also believe that a majority of them, he knows that they're not. That interview that we played last Monday is a perfect example of what Bob Bigelow, the Space Gigolo, knows. He is the guy that we need to get to. If Lou Elizondo knows more, he's not sharing it. And I'm telling you, I've said it for almost a month now. He looks like a fucking cat with a canary. Like he's hiding something, but he won't say it. And so does Bob Bigelow, to be honest, but still. I think we need to give old Bobo a chance. Maybe we should swarm his offices from all around the world with letters, emails, asking him to just let us know. Give us the truth, Bobo. Not that crazy laugh that he had. That laugh is contagious, because every time I hear it, I want to laugh too. Not that laugh he had when he was on the interview there with Lara Logan. No, not that laugh. But it is contagious. I'm telling you, if we get together as a community and start freaking emailing the shit out of Bob Bigelow, the Space Gigolo, and please don't put Space Gigolo in there, because that might deter him from releasing information. But if we did that as a community, I don't care what podcast you listen to or what website you go. I don't care if you're the first, second cousin, third removed from Security Team 10. Doesn't even matter. If you believe in the topic, you should think about getting to the source, the guy that has all the information. You already heard it in that interview that he had years of the FAA forwarding people to him that had sightings of UFOs. What the fuck else do you need? On top of that, he has Skinwalker Ranch. A-Tip, he was come on. I guarantee you that A-Tip was not the last time that Bob Bigelow kind of got into the whole UFO thing. I promise you. It continued after that. But this is what I'm thinking about. So you guys let me know. Write me in social media, wherever you want. Is that what you want to do? And I will spend as long as I need to track down an address, an email, somewhere where we can send a request, bombard Bob Bigelow, the Space Gigolo, with demands to know the truth. Because, let's be honest, I understand the guy is a billionaire, just like Musk and everybody else. I get it. But really, don't you owe it to the people? Don't you think that the people should know the truth? Hey, some of you guys might say, oh, it's a religious thing. They don't want us to lose our fucking mind. We've already lost our fucking mind. Just look at the news. Look at the news in the last 10 years. We've been losing our mind steadily, more and more every fucking year. So who fucking cares? Let's just go balls to the wall. Let's just expand our knowledge or freak the fuck out all at one time. And you just get it over with. That's all I'm saying. I want to say what's up to the guys that are in the live chat right now at Spreaker.com. We got Dre, Green Man, The Norm. I got to scroll a little bit down, blah, blah, blah. These guys are chatting like crazy right now. But there you go. I'm going to play the first track for today, if I can find it here. And then we'll get to the first news report, which, you know, it is what it is.
Sing for me sweet lullabies. Bright nights of everlasting darksome days. Bright nights and wearing the stain you made of me. And I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait for the bright nights to lead my way through the maze.
Don't fucking scream at me.
Where's
you
the money?
dumb fuck you. Look at you with your fucking 48% body fat.
Hey, listen, there was another idea that I was thinking about because we haven't been on YouTube for a while using video, right? Because you know the podcast itself actually gets transmitted to YouTube, but we had a lot of views when it came to having guests on the video and stuff like that. But I feel like I need to do what like a lot of other folks are doing, at least in some of the segments, and go on there and shit on. I mean, kind of report on some of the UFO sightings that people are going gaga about. I feel like I need to go on there and do that. So here's another thing. Do you guys think I should get the YouTube back together again? You know, have guests like I did before, but still take some time to create some videos where we have some commentary on some of these UFO sightings that are being reported. Because I'm going to be honest, some of these things are ridiculous, and some of them look really legit. You don't really know which is what because it's all video, but you guys let me know. And maybe we can have the Asgardians on there to throw a little spice into the mix. By the way, that's open to anyone in the world that's listening that wants to take part on the YouTube thing. As long as you just have to have a fucking microphone, and you don't have to have a camera. If you don't want to have your facials on YouTube, it's okay. We won't force you to do that, but you have to have a good microphone so at least people can see you. We'll put up some crazy ass avatar to make believe it's your face, but it is what it is. Today, the first one for today, it is Richard Branson is actually this fucking weekend. Oh my god, this vodka's not working. I just scratched up my throat. Hold on a second. This weekend, Richard Branson is apparently going to head into low orbit. Wow. We talked about this for some time. About a year and a half ago, because we know Richard Branson, right? Like back in the day. Oh my god, what the hell's going on? Hold on one second, folks. My throat's going nuts.
Get down. 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 Get down or I'll put you down. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Hasta la vista, baby.
Holy shit, what the hell's going on? Anyway, so Richard Branson is apparently thinking about this weekend. He is going to get on Spaceship 2, and he's heading to low orbit, So this is not orbit, right? Like orbit, like when you have the freaking space shuttle like zooming up to the ISS and stuff like that, and they go past suborbit into orbit. So this is the brief nature of what Richard Branson is doing. Spaceship 2 is just going to hit up low orbit, stay there for a little bit. You get some weightlessness, and then it comes back down again. There's a couple of issues, right? Because he is a CEO. Like, people were freaking out when Elon Musk was talking about, I'm going to be the first one that is going to go to Mars with the first ship. I demand it. So people are freaking out. Like, what is this going to do to, Tesla and SpaceX if Elon Musk gets on the first one-way trip to Mars? Well, here's the thing. We've been seeing a lot of setbacks when it comes to Richard Branson and his space team, Galactic. But what can you do? Somehow in his mind, this is the guy that, a few decades ago, we loved this show. Like, he was bringing people on and stuff like that. He was doing wild shit, jumping out of fucking planes and all this kind of stuff, base jumping. Well, Richard's a little older now, so people are probably thinking, he's a little bit more mature, He's not going to do things like that and sacrifice our company. No fucks are given. Richard Branson this weekend is going to get on his goddamn Spaceship 2, and he is taking off. He's going to go suborbital. Now, here's one of the things that freak people out is the fact that this particular situation, when there was a bit of a test flight back in 2014, the craft actually crashed and killed one of the test pilots. It's a lot of risk you take when you're trying to get a ship that you're developing into low orbit, and then it has to come back down and fucking land. But it's even a greater risk when you're going 2,300 miles an hour. It is a greater risk at that point to bring your fucking CEO back. That's rough. I wonder what that's going to do to the stock. Like, if he makes it, You know, Richard gets up there with his golden locks, and he's like smiling away in the little bit of time he spends in zero gravity. And all of a sudden, he comes back down, he lands. It's a fucking win-win. It really is. It is a win-win for Virgin Galactic and this whole fucking program. And people are going to love it because the CEO did it. Now, if he blows the fuck up on the way down, that's a whole different story. Shit, it can blow up on the way up. Once it gets released from that damn plane, the White Knight 2, it could be over, man. It could be over right there and then. So there's a big risk for Branson here. So we'll see. We know on the other side of this triple threat, we have Bezos, who is quitting Amazon to focus on his Blue Origin. So these CEOs are not screwing around. They know what lays before them as far as wealth in their companies. Space is it. Space travel, going beyond our little blue planet, going beyond the moon and so forth, is where the money is at. You guys might not realize it. The generation that comes after, or any one of those, may not realize it. But these guys do, because that's why they're fucking billionaires. They know where the money's at. So look forward to Branson shooting off a White Knight 2 when it reaches 40,000 feet and it gets dropped from under the fuselage. And we'll see what happens. Is he going to make it? Now, I'm not wishing bad things on Branson. I hope he does it, to be honest. Not that he's going to be any competition for my main man, Elon Musk, but we need some kind of competition, right? So there's more linked in the article regarding Richard Branson and his trip to the edge of space this weekend. Hope everything goes well, but it's too little, too late, Richard. Elon has already won the race, partner.
Fired all of the bullets. Yeah, you shot me through the heart. Casting dice and roulette. The game was set right from the start. I don't wanna go, I don't wanna know, I don't want it anymore. I don't wanna go, don't wanna know, but I keep coming back for more. Crashing down and in the rain. All things are burning up in flames. We're going under, bang bang like thunder, bang bang like thunder. We're crashing down and in the rain. Our love will never be the same. We're going under, bang bang like thunder, bang bang like thunder. Yeah, the air's getting thinner, higher than high we go.
Say what again? Say what?
It seems like something went seriously wrong. I don't even know if we're on right now. Hold on a second. Son of a monkey's uncle. What the hell is going on? Anyway, let's get on to the next song here. Let me just play with something here.
Again, I dare you. I double.
Yeah, we're experiencing technical difficulties. It just happens to be that way. For fuck's sake, what the hell is going on? Anyway, for this particular news report, we go down to SpaceX in Boca Chica for you guys who are sitting by, basically just on the edge of your seats, because guess what's going to happen? It's no longer just a silver phallus. It's a silver ramalama ding dong. I mean, the heavy booster, the super heavy booster, is out there right now in Boca Chica making its rounds. This thing apparently is going to have close to 30 Raptor engines strapped onto the bottom of this thing. And if that wasn't enough, you know that the starships themselves could hold up to 6 Raptors alone. Now, we've only seen in, like SN15, we've only seen 3 Raptors being shot up there. And guess what? This is fucking nuts. We know the craziness that happens when these test vehicles go up. But now we're going to have possibly a total of 36 Raptors getting ready to go into orbit as early as September. This is what's going on right now. This is crazy. I figure I'd bring this up to you guys because you guys got to know that when this silver phallus is finally completely stacked, it will stand at 394 feet in height. This is compared to the Saturn V, which held the record at 363 feet. It's going to roar. It's going to take all these environmental people and freaking blow them the fuck off their seats. Like, when this thing takes off, you can forget about nature in Boca Chica. It will all be melted, disintegrated. It'll be gone. It won't even exist. All the fucking birds are going to move out. They're going to go down to Mexico or move up here to San Antonio with me. It's a done deal. There will be no fucking turtles. There will be no fishing. It's all over. The silver phallus is going to just shit up on nature all over Boca Chica. And that's really what the way it's going to go down. So, initially, SpaceX was kind of tinkering with the idea that this fully stacked vehicle would be ready by the end of July in order to, hit low orbit. It's not going to happen. That's not the way it's going to go down. So they're looking right now at September as the date for this particular monstrosity to finally make its move into low orbit. Now, keep in mind that the initial idea prior to July was that when SN20, which we haven't seen yet, when SN20 gets stacked on top of the Super Heavy, that it will go up to low orbit and then it'll get dumped into the Pacific Ocean. I don't know if that's still the plan, but I did see a recent news report that some of the these robotic landing pads that are like boats, that they're out there headed towards the West Coast. So they could be getting ready to capture the super heavy booster or whatever it is going to go up there. And nobody knows. But the idea is that these things are going to be dumped into the ocean, and we'll see what happens. To be honest, anyone that lives in Boca Chica, you should be fucking happy as hell that these things are going to be dumped in the Pacific. Now, you guys in Hawaii and all those other islands that love your nature, it's fucked. It's fucked. 2 ways to Sunday. It's a done deal. You will have zero nature anywhere because SpaceX has come to town and it's going to dump its biggest phallus on you, and it's going to be crazy. I know you guys are going to have nightmares about it, but still, that's the way it is. So that's what we're looking forward to. SN20 stacked on top the super heavy rocket booster, and we're hoping that this really happens in September, because this is going to be something magnificent. Now, it'll be really fucked up if it blows up, because could you imagine that gigantic craft, all 394 feet of it, just blowing up all over Boca Chica? It's going to be pretty ugly. Like, I've been thinking about, like, moving down in about a couple of years down to Brownsville, or, pretty close to Boca Chica, so I could witness all these things happening. But for fuck's sake, if this thing blows up, there won't be a Boca Chica. There'll be nothing left. Nothing left at all. We're talking about anywhere from 36 to 39 Raptor engines just fucking blowing up the entire coast of southern Texas. It's just going to be ugly. But anyway, there is more in the link of the description for the podcast for you if you want to read more about the craziness that's going to go down when SpaceX gets up there. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the image for this particular podcast, you will see what the SpaceX Starship should look like, including the super heavy booster. So come on, this is new. This is the way of the future of space. This is it. Yeah, like if you want to go and spend billions of dollars going into low space, that's your low orbit. That's your business. God bless you. God bless America. But for fuck's sake, if you want any kind of business, your ass needs to be going to Mars and the moon. Stop screwing around. I'm going to try to play the song. I don't know if it's going to play because we are having technical difficulties, and I just see on my dashboard here that Windows is trying to do another update. For fuck's sake, Windows, leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, you could just kiss the music goodbye. It's not even happening. There's no. I barely could tell if I'm live right now. But anyway, let's run into the next particular article for today. One of the things that I mentioned at the beginning is that there's a lot of people who were experiencers. They were abducted, they were probed, they were caught in a dark road in the middle of nowhere driving when they had an experience of UFOs, and they've recently just realized that this report is downplaying their experiences. So they're coming out of the woodwork. One of the guys that you will know as far as historically from UFOs and the look at this shit. God damn you, Windows. Now it's telling me it wants to restart. Anyway. Pascagoula, Calvin Parker. He said, no, the government is feeding you a bunch of bullshit. Here's a quote. I don't believe they're being straight up. The Department of Defense could come a little cleaner about what they've got. I just really believe there's more out there than what they're saying. As you know, back in October 11 of 1973, Calvin Parker was out there on the Pascagoula River along with Charles Hickson. And guess what? They claimed they were abducted by aliens that night. The thing about them is that not only were they claiming that they were abducted by aliens that night, but later on we had witnesses that were on the other side of the river that saw the shit go down. In Pascagoula. This is fucking nuts. Parker goes on to say that he just got off of work, and so him and his friend decided, hey, we gotta go fishing. What the fuck else you gonna do in Pascagoula after work? Drink beer? No. You can drink beer and fish at the same time. So let's go out to the river and get it. They detailed a abduction scenario, which was like crazy, freaking crazy. But it was 1973. This was what Parker said. He says the old abandoned shipyard, they had a little pier out in front of it, and they were on the pier, and they figured that about 6 o'clock that evening, it started to get dark. But the moon was kind of bright. Parker says he noticed a blue light reflecting off the water, and his initial thought was law enforcement officers had arrived. You know, they're like, oh, y'all can't be fishing here, get the fuck out. But that's not what happened. Law enforcement didn't arrive. It was E.T. It was E.T. that showed up. And if you look at this story, the E.T. that showed up was crazy. Completely nuts. And the thing is that you have experiencers who have seen this unintelligent UAP report, and they're questioning the motives, number one, of the government, the fact that the time period that they looked at didn't include them. We've literally, through this unintelligent report, negated decades of experiencers and reports and data being collected consistently, some of which was collected by the government. To be honest, it ain't do shit about it. In addition to that, there was another person, Rosie Nail of Moss Point, who also reported her own sighting. Hundreds away from Pascagoula, the same night that Hickson and Parker said they were abducted, she had her own sighting. A sighting that is very, very similar to Parker and Hickson. She was in the northeast of Grenada in the town of Bruce, and she saw lights moving across the sky at night. This light actually separated into two separate lights. One orb moved closer to her and became as large as the sun and started to change colors. It then joined the other object and shot out of sight. She says it was an event that wasn't explained by any possibilities that were detailed in our unintelligent UAP report. The quote from her is that it was otherworldly, whatever that encompasses. It was purposeful. It had meaning. It was a reason for it to be there. She continued to say it maneuvered, it went up and down, it went sideways, it shot up in the sky. I don't think it's military of any country. I think with technology advances, they would know if it was from other countries. No shit, Sherlock. There is no way that the unintelligent community has no idea the origin of these UFOs. I'm just saying. She says whether the truth is, I think we should know about it. You know, basically that's what these individuals are saying. Nail, Hickson, and Parker are all saying the same thing. Because this UFO that Parker and Hickson experienced literally was seen hundreds of miles away by Rosie Nail. So it's a real situation. It's a real thing. And we haven't even talked about the crazy looking alien that came out of the craft that Hickson and Parker saw. How the fuck is that Chinese or Japanese? Chinese? I won't say Japanese. I'm sorry. Arigato, Mr. Roboto. How could that be Russian and Chinese? It cannot. I promise you, it cannot. You look at the history of China and Russia when it comes to space. It's impossible to think that in 1973 that either country pulled off the craziness that these folks are reporting. And it's not just them. It is decades of people reporting technology that is amazing, way in advance of where we were, and phenomenal. So we're dealing with what appears to be a technological problem here with UFO Buster Radio. I don't know what the hell happened. Like, nothing is working on the board. I hate you, Microsoft. Bill Gates, you can go kiss my ass. So let's move on to the next one. And this one is actually from It Happened to Me in India. First-person accounts of Indian UFOs. Indian UFO. Come on, what are you, serious? This is the best thing about reaching out through a podcast to other countries. Because you hear folks who will chime in and tell you things about UFOs, experiences. The one place that you don't really get is India. You don't get a whole lot from India, but the Hindu Times is reporting on an incident that happened to one particular person. The individual was about 5 years old. It was the summertime. They were with their grandmother, sitting outside on a cot outside of their house in Dehradun. Yeah, I said it kind of fast, so you guys won't realize that I butchered it. But it's Dehradun. Look, I'm trying. Don't laugh. I really am. The individual says they looked up into the sky and saw a lit up red disc hovering about a bank of clouds with zero sound. Zilch. Nada. Nothing. This happened in 1987. Again, not part of the useless in an unintelligent community report. 1987. He says he asked his father what it was. He didn't know. Asked his mom what it was. She didn't know. Eventually, he got to his elder sister, and who was in the kitchen, and she said, "Hey, what do you think it is?" She said it was a helicopter. But then he says, "No, can't be a helicopter. It had no sound." So she was perplexed by this while she was getting down, getting these dishes done. So she steps outside, but the craft was already gone. This is a story of Kamal Pant from 1987. This story drove him, really, literally drove him to investigate UFO sightings. He decided to study UFOs. He was going through online theories about why UFOs would visit the planet and how many people were reporting that UFOs were actually visiting the Earth, what technology they might have used, and even what type of alien being would be on the craft. Kind of sounds familiar, right? Because we know that Deuce Bigelow, the space gigolo, the experience that his grandparents, should I say, reported, that kind of drove him to find out some more. Same thing with Kamal Pant, except Kamal doesn't have like a gajillion billion dollars to help him get to the answer. And he says this, "To me, the knowledge of why they are here is more important than the fact that they are." He's actually 39 now and a software engineer. He says, because, believe it or not, we have that answer. They are reaching out to us and welcoming us into the cosmos and into the places in creation where mankind has not so far been allowed. And that is the answer, that we will create discomfort in you and at the same time completely free you from fear, doubt, and disbelief. He actually took it a step further, and he actually wrote a email to NASA because he had an incident back in 2014 where he saw a mothership taking off of from the moon and also landing on the moon. So he sent that to NASA, and they told him, stay away. I mean, you can't fuck with NASA. If they tell you to stay away, you stay away. Come on. Stop fucking around. But the truth is, listen, NASA's not going to want to hear what the hell you got to say. Nor is anyone that is in a government facility doing their own thing. They don't want to hear what you got to say. They don't give two fucks about what you've been doing, looking at the moon at night. Come on. They don't care about that. you should go back to basically reporting these things as you see fit. There's no need to reach out to any government agency. And really, I want to know if Kamal actually reached out to the agency in India. Because according to this article, folks in India have been experiencing UFOs for such a long time and have recorded this since the 1950s. But we don't really see too much of that. We really don't. So, Kamal, hats off to you for taking your experience and running with it and trying to get some answers. But at the end of the day, you got to hold on to you, what you see, your evidence. And you might lose a couple of people along the way, but there's probably going to be a lot of folks, a lot of nuts on the way that will be able to not only validate what you see, but also give you a bit of encouragement that you're on the right track. The rest of Kamal's story is linked in the description from the Hindu Times. And listen, it is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, something that's crazy the way this UAP report discounted decades of experiencers and their concerns, and just because they wanted to focus on a particular observer, those that are in the armed forces. But at the same time, they also turned around and said that their observations were shit. Just be honest. That's what the report says. I thank you guys for listening. If you are in any of the 66 countries that listen to UFO Buster Radio, or the old habits die hard, to the Tempest Universe, please be sure to share it, like it, send it to your friends. If you have someone that's like-minded and is tired of the nonsense, the regurgitation of all the, the constant telling of old stories, but yet no certification of what is true today, then share this podcast. We will keep it real. It's a bit explicit, but we're all adults from what I understand. It's okay. There is no outtrack today. There's nothing I can play. I mean, the shit is like totally dead right now, thanks to Gates and the rest of his cronies. Like right in the middle of the podcast. How the fuck does that happen? Just ridiculous. Let me see. Let me press this here. Yep. 0. Nothing. Nothing's working. This is crazy. Well, I can at least be thankful that I'm still here live. So I thank you guys for listening. I appreciate every single one of you. We'll come back next week. Look for a Dark Horde episode this weekend because some of the psychics are saying they need to get on the show. So we'll see what happens. Thank you for showing up. Adios. Farewell. Goodbye.